Okay, ready when you are.
Okay. Hi, folks. Good afternoon. Here I am back again. Some of the things that we've talked about in the past are probably some of the things I've forgotten already, but it's like various books and things. One thing we did talk about a lot was the Bible that only had 66 books, and the other one had 73 books, and the other one had 100 books, and I just found a bunch more in the library there. And what these people seemed to say was that they were discovered or they were actually read, and they were important to them, but in translating them, which they all had to be translated from Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic, one can make up their own mind about whether they belonged in the Bible or not, or whether you want to include that whole mess in your Bible, and or not. That's just so that's kind of the foundation on which I talk about that sort of stuff for a while, because it is interesting and it is news. And for those of you who are open to that sort of thing, it's information that could be very, very valuable. One of the things that I've run into just lately is the idea or fact that the only reason Jesus came was to save the Hebrews. It wasn't everybody in the world. It was save the Hebrews because they weren't following Moses' law. And all through the Gospels of the New Testament, Jesus refers to himself as the Son of Man, not the Son of God. That was Paul that did all of that, and that's a whole other subject. That he was actually the foundation of Christianity. So those are just little bits of things to grind on. One of the things we talked about last time that you wanted to talk about again was artificial intelligence. Now, artificial intelligence can be looked at in several ways. For instance, some people kind of out in the left field a little bit would say that we are, after all, kind of robots. We are being driven by an DNA, and that's what happens in our culture and in our biology over time in rapid ways, is to change us in some way. And we have no control over that. Isn't that nice? Anyway, that's another subject to talk about, and suppose you thought that maybe we were robots, that somebody was fixed us up so that they could somehow control what we did. Do you get a whiff of that somehow? Maybe in all the writings and all the history? Is there a little whiff of that somewhere? Where maybe we were developed to think we had free will, but perhaps we didn't have that much free will, or maybe we did. Something to chew on. I'll get back to that in time. The scary part of I just read something today, too, about climate change and how everybody's getting all upset about climate change and changing all kinds of stuff. It's gone backwards from what they scared you with. There's fewer storms. Occasionally there's a very strong one. There's the ice is melting some, but it did that before. It didn't need any human help to do that. So, those are things to think about. But anyway, the idea is you shouldn't get too upset about the whole thing. That you ought to, live a reasonable life and not get all upset about that. There's enough people being upset about that. Now, the other thing is that AI, somebody said, well, it's going to cost jobs. And maybe the whole civilization will just kind of blow up because nobody has any work to do. Because robots are doing the whole thing, and pretty soon there's nobody making robots except the robots. The robots can make themselves pretty soon. And don't you believe that they won't? They will, because they're building into these things some things that would maybe prevent them from automatically or autonomously making robots to their way of thinking. Maybe they don't like the humans that are marching around, so they want to do something about that. But it's probably not there, and it probably won't be there very well for a long, long time, if ever. But now here's the thing, like in manufacturing, like in cars and stuff, a lot of it's done by robotics already. In a whole lot of manufacturing, robotics is part of what the millwrights and so on need to know about, so that they can have a job to keep those things running and keep them operating. Now, it could be that they won't need millwrights because they will figure out how to be a robotic millwright. But not so fast. Not so fast. The human intellect is can handle a lot of very quick things and very strange things that may not be built into a robot. But I wouldn't say it couldn't be, And maybe it will be. Maybe the place for the AI is in the spaceships, which they will, as soon as they discover that they're using the wrong physics, maybe they already have, but that they'll be developed in space travel. Even though it's short, after a while it'll be long. And maybe that's just a good place for them to experiment with that. And I think they are. They are. What I'm talking about is probably way behind the times. And that's the thing about secrecy in our society. That secrecy is a problem for our society. Secrecy provides a place for incompetence to flourish, to do things out of public reach, and all that sort of stuff. That secrecy is definitely a thing that needs to go away. In this country, we have copyright law, patent law, and that sort of thing. So if somebody thinks up something, they can, go there and do that. But secrecy, all this secrecy is hiding more secrecy, and is hiding incompetence. And that's not good. That's not good for any of us. Anyway, more AI. There's robots are going to will build refrigerators, freezers, cars. Cars that'll be run automatically, by the way. Won't need drivers. That'll be a robot. You already have a robot in your car if you have a computer in it. And it's doing things in your car that keep you safe and to tell you where you're going because you ask it to. So those sorts of things. What has to happen, though, just briefly, is that the culture needs to change in a positive way. And that is that the more AI that you have on one side of the balance, you've got to have something for people on this side of the balance so that the balance doesn't go this way and destroy all this. So, back in the 60s and 70s and maybe a little before that even, there were several people that wrote things about that, what the culture has to come to, like 20-hour work week to get paid. You have to get paid. Money has to circulate in order for people to live and for people to grow and all that sort of stuff. So that's the thing to do, is to find out how to circulate that money, which is paying people to do things. There'll be more time for learning, more time for recreation. And some people would like more time for recreation now. But, like if the work week is only 20 hours, well, then the family and everything would accommodate to that. But it needs to do it in a slow way so that the AI handles or the people that are handling AI, of course, which is part of these people, will take over some of the jobs and there will be other things left for people to do. Recreation, sports, cars, whatever, and volunteerism. There you go. We don't have, everybody is not born healthy in this society. And for those that need help from birth or even on into teenage, there's a need for volunteers, for people to be with people. That's the whole thing that could happen with AI. So when they want to take the whole concept of AI away from you and say we can't have this in this culture, that is wrong. We have it, it'll grow, and it'll get big and big and bigger, and we will have a more balanced culture, perhaps. Perhaps. But you guys know who to talk to. They get in that building down there in Olympia, and they get in those buildings there in Washington, D.C. And those are the people that make the laws, that can make the changes. So some of it will naturally happen because it has to, but there's where you go to get your culture changed. And there's no defining what that culture would be in a single sentence or a single word. So, you know what to do. But AI could be great. We have a lot of it now. We need more. So, that's all I'm going to say today. So we'll see you next week.
I got a question for you, Ivan.
All right. Yeah, what happened to you guys?
So, you were talking about artificial intelligence and how it's going to become a part of our society, definitely. It feels to me like I would totally agree with you. It's coming. It's going to happen.
It is here.
It is happening.
Yeah.
Yep, it's happening here. And, we've made more, we have made more strides as a society over the last 100 years than we did the previous,
Yeah.
several thousand. And I think that exponentially is going to get shorter and shorter. We're going to
Right.
make more strides in 50 years and then 20 because computing power becomes much more powerful. As humans rely more and more on computing, do you think over time that the evolutionary effect on the human brain will make us stupider?
No. No, I think it'd go the other way.
You think it'd go the other way?
Mhm.
We would become more intelligent.
Well, the question of intelligence is another subject, but they'll be more capable because there'll be more learning and all of that sort of thing. With, say, define the intelligence the culture is now. You don't have to be a whole lot more intelligent to do all this stuff, and it won't. It depends on who's the guy that's running the DNA bit. Do you know?
No.
Well, I don't either.
Good point.
See,
Right.
we can guess at it. We got books that talk about it,
Sure.
and if we do it right, everything will be cool. But I don't know who's actually messing with the DNA to make more intelligent. I know there are people doing this,
Sure.
experimenting, but it's not due to AI. It's just due to biological experimentation or biochemical experimentation. That's my idea.
Yeah, I have heard a little bit about that. Working with animals especially, and then eventually it'll morph to humans.
Yeah?
I guess my fear with artificial intelligence is that us as a human race are, let's be honest, inherently lazy.
Yeah?
Let's let a machine do it, and then we'll eventually, over the next, 50 generations, will we become just couch potatoes and let the machines do all the work?
I don't think it'll get there.
Yeah.
There's given 100 years from now, there'll probably be ships going out to the moon out there. That they'll have a handle on getting some stuff into space, and they'll just need all kinds of people and smarts and everything to do that.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, good. You left me with some hope.
That's if we don't blow ourselves up.